You are standing at the edge of a harbor at 3 in the morning. The water is black. The air smells like salt and diesel. And then you feel it before you see it. A slow, deep vibration moving through the concrete beneath your feet, traveling up through your legs and settling somewhere in your chest. Then the lights appear. First just 2 or 3, then dozens, stretching so far across the horizon that your brain tells you it must be a coastline, a city, another country appearing from the darkness. But it is not a coastline. It is a single ship, one vessel, and it is heading straight for you. That moment, that specific feeling of scale breaking your brain is what this entire video is built around. Because today, we are taking the most extreme size comparison the ocean has ever witnessed. The 5 largest cargo ships ever constructed in human history. Machines so vast that entire neighborhoods fit on their decks. Against the 5 smallest personal jet skis ever built. Machines so tiny that you can throw one in the back of your truck after a day on the water. Same ocean, completely opposite ends of human engineering. The numbers in this video are going to feel fictional. The comparisons are going to feel cruel. But every single one of them is real. Let's start where the numbers stop making sense, at the very top.
Coming in at number 5, meet the Everace. This is a container ship operated by Evergreen Marine Corporation, the same company that gave the world its most embarrassing traffic jam when their ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. The Everace was built in 2021 at the Samsung Heavy Industries shipyard in South Korea, and she is an absolute titan. She stretches 400 meters in length, that is nearly a quarter of a mile, and carries a beam width of 61.5 meters across. She can load up to 23,992 TEUs, which stands for 20-foot equivalent units, meaning standardized shipping containers. Stack those containers end to end, and you'd stretch from New York to Philadelphia. She weighs in at a gross tonnage of around 235,000 tons and requires a crew of roughly 25 people to operate. 25 people running a vessel bigger than most airports. She sails the Asia-Europe trade routes, carrying everything from electronics to clothing to furniture. One voyage of the Everace carries enough goods to stock every store in a mid-sized American city.
Number 4 is the HMM Algeciras. Built in 2020 at the Hyundai Heavy Industries shipyard in Ulsan, South Korea, this ship belongs to the Korean shipping giant HMM, formerly known as Hyundai Merchant Marine. When she was launched, she briefly held the title of the largest container ship in the world, and even now, she makes most ships look like bath toys. The HMM Algeciras is 399.9 meters long and 61 meters wide, with a capacity of 23,964 TEUs. She displaces around 228,000 gross tons and stands nearly 33 meters above the waterline. That's over 10 stories just from the water's surface to her upper deck. Her engine generates over 60,000 horsepower, consuming around 250 tons of fuel every single day at sea. She operates primarily between Asia and Europe, and her name comes from the Spanish port city of Algeciras, one of the busiest container ports in the Mediterranean. She was such a landmark in shipping history that she was received with a full maritime ceremony when she arrived at her first European port.
At number 3, we have the MSC Gulsun. And this ship deserves every superlative you can throw at it. Delivered in 2019 and built by Samsung Heavy Industries in Jeoje, South Korea for the Mediterranean Shipping Company, the world's largest container shipping line, the MSC Gulsun was a turning point in maritime engineering. She is 399.9 meters long and 61.5 meters wide, with a staggering capacity of 23,756 TEUs. What made her revolutionary was not just her size, but the fact that she redefined what naval architects believed was even possible for a commercially operating vessel. Her hull alone weighs tens of thousands of tons before a single container is loaded.
She requires tugboat assistance every time she enters or leaves a port because her sheer mass creates water displacement strong enough to damage harbor infrastructure. She was named after the wife of MSC's founder, Gianluigi Aponte, and she leads a series of sister ships that MSC has been steadily adding to its fleet. She sails the Asia-Northern Europe corridor and represents billions of dollars in engineering ambition made real.
Number 2 brings us to the ever-legendary Vale Brazil, a different kind of giant entirely. While most of these ships are container vessels, Vale Brazil is a bulk carrier, built to carry raw iron ore across entire oceans. Constructed at the Hyundai Heavy Industry Shipyard in South Korea and delivered in 2011, she was commissioned by the Brazilian mining giant Vale, and she is a Valemax class vessel, a class so large that several major ports around the world initially refused to accept her because they simply were not deep enough or wide enough to handle her. She stretches 362 meters in length and 65 meters in beam width. Her deadweight tonnage, meaning the total weight she can carry, is an extraordinary 400,000 DWT. To put that into perspective, she can carry more raw iron ore in one voyage than the total weight of the Eiffel Tower multiplied by over 40 times. She was built to reduce shipping costs on the brutal Brazil to China iron ore route, essentially replacing 3 smaller ships with one massive one. When she is fully loaded, she sits so deep in the water that only the very top of her hull is visible above the waterline. And now, the undisputed king, number 1, the Pioneering Spirit. Built in 2013 and completed in 2016 by the Swiss offshore construction and marine company Allseas at the DSME shipyard, Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering, in Okpo, South Korea, this vessel is not just the largest cargo ship ever built, she is the largest ship of any kind ever constructed in the history of human civilization. The Pioneering Spirit is 382 meters long, but here is where the numbers become almost science fiction. She is 124 meters wide. 124 meters! That is wider than most ships are long. She has a gross tonnage of 403,342 tons and a displacement that exceeds 900,000 tons when fully ballasted. She was specifically designed with a twin-hull catamaran structure to lift and install entire offshore oil platforms, structures that themselves weigh tens of thousands of tons, in one single lift. She can remove decommissioned offshore platforms from the sea in one piece. She has a crew of up to 571 people on board at any given time and contains living quarters, a hospital, a gymnasium, and multiple dining facilities inside her hull. She has no equal. Nothing in the history of shipbuilding has ever come close. She is the absolute pinnacle of what human engineering can produce on water. Now we make the wildest gear shift in the history of this channel. From vessels that weigh hundreds of thousands of tons, we are now talking about machines that a single person can carry. Coming in at number 5 on the small side, let's talk about the Yamaha EX series, specifically the EX Sport. Manufactured by Yamaha Motor Corporation in Iwata, Shizuoka, Japan, a company that has been making watercraft since the 1980s, the EX Sport was introduced in 2017 and quickly became one of the most popular entry-level personal watercraft in the world. It measures just 3.05 meters in length, 1.21 meters wide, and weighs only 249 kilograms dry. It is powered by a 1.05-liter Yamaha TR1 3-cylinder engine, producing around 100 horsepower, giving it a top speed of approximately 80 kilometers per hour. She seats 2 to 3 riders and has a modest fuel tank of 59 liters. What makes the EX Sport beloved is its simplicity. It is affordable, reliable, incredibly maneuverable, and easy to load onto a trailer after a day on the water. It has a hull that is specifically designed to be stable for beginners, and it became the go-to starter watercraft for families around the world. In the world of personal watercraft, this is about as approachable as it gets. Number 4 is the Sea-Doo Spark. And if the EX Sport is approachable, the Spark is practically a toy in comparison. And that is meant as a compliment. Launched in 2014 by Bombardier Recreational Products, headquartered in Valcourt, Quebec, Canada, the Sea-Doo Spark was specifically engineered to be the lightest, most affordable performance watercraft on the market, and it completely disrupted the industry. The Spark measures just 3.07 meters in length, 1.18 meters wide, and here is the staggering number. It weighs as little as 183 kilograms in its base configuration. Some versions weigh even less. It is powered by a 900 ACE engine in either 60 or 90 horsepower variants with a top speed of around 80 kilometers per hour. The Spark's hull is made from a lightweight thermoplastic material rather than traditional fiberglass, which is a big part of why it is so light. It is narrow enough that one person can drag it in and out of the water alone. It costs a fraction of most watercraft and can be stored standing upright in a garage like a bicycle. The Sea-Doo Spark made the dream of owning a personal watercraft available to a massive new generation of water enthusiasts.
At number 3, we have something extraordinary, the Wave Runner VX by Yamaha, specifically the entry-level VX Cruiser. But the version that earns its place on this list is the stripped-back, ultra-compact Yamaha Superjet, a stand-up personal watercraft that has been in production with updates since 1990. Made at Yamaha's facility in Iwata, Japan, the Superjet is just 2.74 meters long, 0.74 meters wide, and weighs around 163 kilograms. It is a single-rider stand-up craft, meaning there is no seat. You ride it standing upright like a surfboard with an engine. It is powered by a 701cc two-stroke twin-cylinder engine producing around 100 horsepower, and it has a top speed of approximately 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. The Superjet has become the craft of choice for freestyle jet ski competitions worldwide because its small, narrow hull allows for tricks, spins, and maneuvers that are completely impossible on larger sit-down watercraft. It is the skateboard of the sea, raw, physical, demanding, and thrilling in a way that nothing else on water can replicate.
Number 2 is the Kawasaki Jet Ski SXR, which is the closest rival to the Superjet in the stand-up world. And for many enthusiasts, it is the superior machine. Built by Kawasaki Heavy Industries at their facility in Akashi, Hyogo, Japan, the new generation SXR was relaunched in 2017 after a hiatus, and it came back with a vengeance. It measures 2.82 meters in length and just 0.75 meters wide, weighing approximately 196 kilograms. But what separates the SXR from everything else is its engine, a 1,498cc four-stroke, four-cylinder engine producing around 160 horsepower. For a stand-up watercraft that weighs under 200 kilograms, that is a genuinely violent amount of power. It reaches top speeds of around 100 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest stand-up jet skis ever made. The SXR is built for serious performance riding. It corners aggressively, it launches off waves, and it demands a physically fit and experienced rider to handle properly. Professional jet ski racers around the world treat it as the gold standard for stand-up competition riding. It is small, brutal, and spectacular.
And now, the most extreme personal watercraft ever built for public use. Number 1. The Merlin GT by Merlin Watersports, a company based in Cornwall, United Kingdom. The Merlin GT is essentially a one-person torpedo. It measures just 2.5 meters in length and weighs under 100 kilograms, making it light enough for a single person to carry, load, and launch entirely alone. It is the world's smallest commercial high-performance personal watercraft. Powered by a compact jet propulsion engine, it sits a single rider in an almost reclined, pod-like seating position with the rider's body nearly inside the hull, rather than on top of it. It reaches speeds of over 80 kilometers per hour, despite its impossibly tiny dimensions. The entire craft is constructed from aerospace-grade composite materials to keep weight at an absolute minimum. It is so small that it can be stored in the trunk of an SUV or strapped to the roof of a car. It is the antithesis of everything we talked about in the first half of this video. If the pioneering spirit is humanity's greatest act of size, the Merlin GT is humanity's greatest act of smallness.
And somehow, both of them command the exact same body of water. The same ocean that carries 400,000 tons of iron ore from Brazil to China also carries one single person on 100 kilograms of composite fiberglass, flying across the surface at 80 kilometers per hour, completely free. And honestly, that might be the most beautiful thing about the sea.